Thank you for being here and for moving with me. Let's start with our legs straight. Nice long legs, really straight. Keep in mind that if you're sitting back in the chair, it's harder to straighten the legs all the way, so you might have to scoot up just a little bit. But from here, let's take our arms out to our sides, hands a little bit lower than your shoulders, and then rotate your arm bones all the way one way and all the way the other way. Just take your time. We're not trying to get from one rotation to the next super fast. It's very common that if you haven't done this in a while, or just some days are different, that this could really tire out the muscles in your arms, your shoulders. So just put your arms down and give them a break if you need to. We're going all the way internal and then all the way external, which is usually a little harder. Try to turn the thumbs back, try to turn the elbows forward a little bit, reach out through the upper back and chest muscles. So as you're doing this, if you get any cracking or popping, go slower through those areas. There should be no real pain or discomfort. Halfway through, you might realize your arms are back up here, so let them relax a little bit so that you're not overusing those upper neck or neck and upper shoulder muscles. And just breathing here as we rotate, warming up our shoulders, open up through the palms of your hands and fingers. Okay, let's stick with our right arm out. You can even hold your right arm steady and just rotate your forearm. So in general, this arm, I have some tensions in this arm that I don't have in the other arm, so I find that it's a little bit more challenging to rotate my forearm on this side without my upper arm bone moving. And you're not only rotating your lower arm, but you're trying to rotate it as much as you can one way, as much as you can the other way, without moving your upper arm bone around. So when we have a lot of tension in one area, oftentimes our movement gets bound up. So it's a really good idea sometimes to just break up tension and get all of our parts working on their own so that they work better all together. And then switch sides. Extend your arm. You can hold your upper arm still and rotate your forearm here. And much easier on this side for me to turn my forearm farther without my upper arm bone moving. And just see, can you turn it a little farther? Turn it a little farther. It's really nice for the forearm muscles, which are often a part of the body that we don't give a particularly large amount of time to. All right, back to full arm, internal rotation as far as they'll go. Reach out, turn and look over your right shoulder, turn and look over your left shoulder. Check in, are any of your leg muscles clenching? Try to relax them. Bring your head back to center, right ear to right shoulder, and left ear to left shoulder. And bring your head up and drop your chin down to the center of your chest. Internal rotation, breathing. Slowly bring your head up. External rotation, turn all the other way, all the way the other way. Turn and look over your right shoulder. And turn and look over your left shoulder. Bring your head back to center. Right ear drops over to right shoulder. And left ear goes over to left shoulder. And bring your head up and drop your chin down to the center of your chest. Great time to wiggle out any clenching. And bring your head up and lower your arms down. Okay, grab your block or whatever you use to lift. You can even do this with just your right leg straight and your left knee bent. Or you can use the block at any height. I'm going to do the highest height today. So put the block in front of your right foot and then extend your leg up on the block. Try to sit up nice and tall here. So bring those top ASIS bones over your pubic bone. And then with your arms by your side, we'll reach our arms up and bring them back down. And reach up and back down. And reach up and back down and back a little bit and reach up and down and back a little bit. And then relax your arms and rotate forward from your pelvis. First, you're paying attention to the rotation of your pelvis. Next, try to straighten your leg all the way. All right, come on up and take that foot off and slide that block out to the right. It might take a few tries to get the right spot, but you're just going to extend your right leg out to the right on the block. And then sitting up tall in your pelvis, turn your palms to face out away from each other and circle your arms up and down. And circle up and down. Reach out as you go up. Reach out as you go down. Reach out as you go up. And reach out as you go down, and then hinge forward here. Notice if your thigh tends to roll in, rotate that thigh open so your knee kind of goes out to the side behind you. Relaxing, clenching around your hips, around your thighs. All right, come on up and take your foot off, and then put that block on the other side of your left foot. And then if this feels like it just won't work, you can just bend your left knee and reach your right leg across, but you can keep your left leg straight and reach your right leg across, and you might have to move the block a few times to get the right spot. And then two nice straight legs, reach your arms out to the sides, pinky fingers together, and reach out wide. And together, and reach out, breathing. All right, from there, relax your arms down and hinge forward any amount. Doesn't have to be much. If you just feel tight, you're trying to imagine things relaxing any amount. Some people, it's obvious, oh, I'm a clencher, I clench certain areas. You can try to let them go. But some areas just are not ready to let go, and you'll just feel them staying tight, and you're just trying to mentally relax, physically relax those areas any amount, and being patient and just observing them. All right, come on up and let's switch. So put your heel up. If you'd like to, you can keep your right knee bent or extend it long, and then arms by your sides, reach up and pull back, and reach up without lifting the ribs. Pull back and reach up and pull back and reach up and pull back. And then from there, hinge forward, work on the rotation of the pelvis first, and then try to get your leg to be a little bit straighter, a little bit more relaxed. All right, come on up, and now take that block out to the left any amount. It might take a few tries to get it in a place where you can extend your leg out and stay there, but just stay, let that thigh relax, outer thigh, inner thigh. Circle your arms up and down, and circle up, and press down, and circle up and press down, and then hinge forward from your hips, rotating the pelvis, trying to come off of your tailbone and towards your sitting bones. And come on up and put the block on the other side of your left foot or right foot. You can bend your right knee, or you can just keep it straight and try to get it across. Take as many tries as you need to set it up where you can cross your foot over and it's kind of comfortable. You're not straining to keep your foot on there. And then this time with our arms out to the sides, we're going to do something a little bit different. So hands a little bit lower than your shoulders. We'll do right arm on top at first. Right arm on top, across, and open. Right arm on top, and open. Right arm on top, and reach out. Right arm on top, reach out. Now switch to left arm on top. Left arm on top, and open. Left arm on top, open. 2 more like that. Left arm on top. And then relax your arms, rotate forward from your pelvis. Breathing, a little goes a long way. All right, come on up and take your foot off of there. You can move that block out of the way and spin into your first lunge. Try to get your knee as far back so it lands under your hip, your ankle right behind your knee. From here in our lunge, we'll just keep our torso facing straight ahead and turn our neck all the way one way and turn your neck all the way the other way. Take your time, keep your chin about parallel with the floor, especially as you turn to one side. People tend to lift their chin up a little bit, so maybe don't turn as far and keep your chin parallel. As you go side to side, feel your neck muscles, relax the side of the jaw. Steady feet, notice your front foot, does your foot roll to one side? Notice your back foot, does it roll to one side? And then next time your chin comes back to center, drop your chin down to the center of your chest, and with your head hanging down, turn your head slowly side to side there. So looking to one side and looking to the other side. And bring your head to center, lift it up, slide that leg forward, spin around to the other side. Knee slides back under the hip, nice tall spine. And this time, instead of turning our head, we'll do ear to shoulder, side to side. Now it's common here as people drop their head over that the chin goes up or the head drops forward. Try to feel like your chin staying back, but your ears going straight down to your shoulder. Side to side. Feet steady, but relaxing, clenching around the thighs, the hips, the shoulders. All right, bring your chin down to the center of the chest. Now this time, instead of twisting, go very slow, but do little side bends with your head while it's hanging down. Relax the forehead. Bring your head back to center, lift it up, slide that leg forward, scoot your left hip over towards the left side of the chair, heel toe your right foot out. You want your torso facing forward, so you don't want to turn as your leg walks out, but then you want your foot and your ankle in about the same line. So you don't want your foot out here and your knee in here, or your foot in here and your knee going one direction. You want them about the same line to wherever you can comfortably walk out. And then you might lean onto your left hip a little bit to extend your right leg and bend your knee. Every time you bend your knee, try to put your ankle right under your knee instead of back behind it. All right, extend and bend. Extend and bend. You can definitely use some grip strength on the chair to hold on. Extend and bend. Extend all the way, relax, and bend. Flip your right palm up, side bend up and over, and back down. Oh, the first side bend of a session always feels wonderful. Hopefully it does to you too. Breathing here. All right, next time your hand comes down, re-extend, and now point and flex. Now, depending on what surface your foot is on, it might change the degree of how much you can point and flex. Just work with wherever you are. Point and flex, point and flex. Now, actively point. Try to feel all 5 toes. Keep pointing. Take your right arm up and over, side bend. And we'll do that a few more times with an actively pointing ankle. And when I first did this, I even got like a little bit of a crampy sensation in my arch. That's okay. That's not a bad thing. That's a little bit of muscle waking up. You can let it relax if it cramps. And then flex and actively flex your ankle. And let's continue with our side bends, drawing one long line from your foot to your fingers. And I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but I do all of my chair and my mat classes multiple times a week, both of them. And I really feel like when I do them multiple times, at least 2, I get very different experiences from the class because my body starts to get used to the movement. It teaches your body something differently. So don't hesitate to do the same class over and over again. It's really good for your body. Okay, scoot over to the other side. Heel toe that left foot out, toes and knees in that same angle, and then from here we'll extend. You might have to lean onto your right hip a little bit and bend, ankle right under the knee, and extend, relax and straighten the leg, and bend, and extend, and bend, and extend, and bend. Hold the bent knee, thigh open, left arm goes up and over. Now we get to side bend on this side. All right, from there, extend your leg long and point. Try to feel all 5 toes and flex. Point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, point, hold, 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 and left arm goes up and over and back down. Breathing. And then flex. I can't help but think, not that I don't try to walk a lot on the days when I don't do classes, but it's really true that on the days when I'm not moving like this, like I'm not sure I even do one side bend sometimes. And I want to get better about that. There's just so much movement to do. Actively flexing your ankle. Good. And then slide that leg in, and let's go back around to your right for a lunge. Slide the knee back under your hip. Now, the first instinct of the leg when you're used to dominantly using the front of your legs is to pull forward. But if your leg goes forward when you lift your foot up, you're not actually using as many muscles in the back of your leg. So it kind of defeats the purpose. So if you just can be really honest with yourself and see, oh yeah, my knee keeps dropping forward, then just first do this a lot more. Like let your thigh rock forward and pull it back, and let it rock forward and pull it back. But once you can keep it back, you can play with slowly lifting and lowering. Of course, if there's any cramping that happens, just extend that leg out in front of you and massage out the area. Next one, hold. Hold up. Draw the thigh bone back. Relax clenching. That doesn't need to be happening. Of course, there's a lot of muscles working here. And then slide that leg through, extend, rotate forward from your pelvis, and rotate your thigh bone side to side here from a mini forward fold. Notice if your knee bends in either rotation and try to straighten it a little bit more. All right, and then from there, slide that knee back again, grab your strap wrap it around your ankle, slide the foot back, and then you can lift a little bit to a lot, but keep backing up your thigh bone with an upright torso. Your ribs relax down and back, your ears slide back over your shoulders. Breathing here. Torso faces straight ahead. You know, I met up with a friend from high school. She was having some body issues, in particular with her hip. She had to work on getting her hips back over her heels, and then from there, when her hips went back over her heels, her lower back didn't feel good. It's because she was thrusting her ribs, so she had to drop her ribs down, and then her head was forward. She had to back her head up. Sound familiar? And as I'm helping her set up in these alignments, she asked me, by the way, she said, God, this feels so foreign. It feels different in my body. And it does. When you first start getting yourself in alignment, it feels like totally crazy. Okay, release and slide that foot forward. Start with your toes up in the air and hinge forward from your pelvis. But then after you do it hundreds and thousands of times where you're just, I'm going to tilt my pelvis up a little. I'm going to drop my ribs down a little. I'm going to slide my head back a little. All of a sudden, one day you notice, naturally your ribs are down a little more, and naturally your head is back a little more. And your pelvis might still have to be upright more, which we'll talk about in a moment. Rotate your thigh bone out, hinge forward, or your ribs down and back more, or your head back more. But your body likes slow adaptation, so it's okay to do it in stages. But it's fun when one day you realize, oh, my ears are back over my shoulders with my ribs down. Okay, and rotate the other way. And not that it'll be like that all the time, but it's fun when you start discovering, oh, I feel more balanced, and all my muscles have more ability to perform well, and they're more relaxed. All right, come on up and slide that leg back. And from here, ribs relax down, maybe one hand to the breastbone, and let's do some head ramping here. So you let your head go forward, but you're not trying to go as far forward as you can. Like, that's not the purpose, because actually we want our heads to be back most of the time. So you let your head go forward a little, and then as you slide it back without your chest lifting, you're trying to lengthen the back of your neck so your chin comes down a little bit. It might almost feel like you're going at a downward angle and back up a ramp. Some head ramping. All right, slide your knee forward, spin around to the other side, knee back under the hip. Remember, just some rocking. Like, be patient. If your knee always comes forward, come into a lunge more often, do some rocking, maybe do this the whole time. Eventually your knee will stay back more. You'll have the range of motion to slowly lift and lower. Breathing. Next one, holds, back up the thigh bone, relax any unnecessary clenching, feeling all around the hips working. Slide that leg forward, extend, little bit of a tilt forward from the pelvis, and rotate the thigh bone. Try to straighten the leg a little bit more as it rotates from side to side. All right, slide the knee back, wrap it around your ankle, and a little bit off the floor or higher up, back that thigh bone up, ribs relax down, ears slide back. Tuning into your breath. Keep drawing the thigh bone back. You might be holding onto the chair, but relax your shoulders. All right, release. Slide that foot forward, toes up in the air, hinge forward. Breathing here. Yeah, I did this class recently and this is my second time doing it. And already I feel like, oh, this feels even better in my hips the second time around. So don't hesitate to do the classes more often if you have the time to do so, or pick pieces and do pieces of it. Okay, externally rotate your thigh bone. and internally rotate. And back to center, slide that knee back into a lunge, ribs relax down and back. Let's do some head ramping. Back of the neck is long as we back up, really not moving from the ribs or the breastbone. And when you drop your ribs down, if you've got a big hunch, your head ramping is going to look more like this at first, like almost like the back of your head's going towards the ceiling instead of straight back, and that's okay. All right, slide that leg forward, spin back around to the front of the chair, walk your feet nice and wide. So speaking of neutral rotation of the pelvis, most people are maybe sunk back a little bit, and then they tilt themselves upright and they're like, yeah, I'm here. But usually there's more to go. So what I want you to do here is to rotate your pelvis like as far forward as you can. And you might not be able to get it there until your torso goes forward too. And then try to keep your pelvis there, but just back up your torso. See if you can do that. Because I found, so let's go ahead and walk our feet wide. We have this neutral pelvis. We're really sitting up tall. If it causes us to lean forward a little, we just back our torso up, but keep the pelvis rotating. Right palm up, pinky finger, and then palm of the hand. We're going to go to each finger and we're going to do just the finger first, ring finger, and palm of the hand. Middle finger, palm of the hand, pointer finger, palm of the hand, thumb out to the side, and then palm of the hand. And even I'm rushing a little bit. Pelvis upright, torso can back up anymore. Pinky finger down, palm of the hand. Ring finger, palm of the hand. Middle finger, palm of the hand or wrist. Pointer finger, palm of the hand, thumb out to the side and down, and then palm of the hand. Okay, recheck. So in many ways, it's almost like you can't go too far with this. Like you're trying to get your ASIS bones over your pubic bone. The chances of them all the time going farther forward are pretty slim. So if you take it to like the max, then even if they go back a little bit, you're probably pretty safe. So for most people, you can get a little further. Reach your right hand out, turn your fingers down and pull back. If your hand goes in, keep it in line with your shoulder. I have a private client who I used to see kind of regularly in person, and then after COVID happened, we were doing just online sessions and still doing online sessions every week. And we decided just to have her come see me in person so we can kind of do an in-person check, because of course there's more to be seen in person. And so she came to me. Go ahead and rotate your arm bone if you can. So try to rotate your upper arm bone. There might be no rotation, but you might notice at different rotations it stretch your forearm differently. You're trying to rotate the arm bone without your hand turning, and you could stay at any rotation. Switch. Hand goes down, pull back, shoulder in line with elbow, in line with wrist. And when we were working together in person, I was like, oh, she was tilting her pelvis upright, but not as far as she could go. And my goodness, if you get further up, it makes a difference for your hip strength. It really makes a difference for your core strength over time. And maybe rotate that upper arm bone. And if you find a particular angle that feels good, if there's no rotation, that's okay. Just stay and breathe and relax your shoulders and check, can your pelvis rotate forward a little more? Even if your torso goes forward at first, then just back your torso up without taking your pelvis with you. All right, release. So walk your feet in a little bit, tilt your pelvis upright, relax your ribs down and back. Pelvis upright as far as it can, ribs go down and back. This is why it's good to sit up on something higher than so your hips are higher than your knees. It's easier to rotate that pelvis. We're just gonna do a little bit of transverse abdominis activation, which you really don't have to do this as an exercise that often. Your body will naturally activate when you move with your pelvis and your rib cage in neutral. But with your pelvis upright, your ribs down and back, really relax your lower belly and then hug it in. But when you hug it in, don't let your hips go back at all. So pelvis all the way upright, belly relaxes, belly hugs in. Belly relaxes and hugs in. Belly relaxes and hugs in. Belly relaxes and hugs in. We don't want to hold it tight all the time. We're just activating that muscle a little bit. But so if you hug it in and your pelvis tucks under even a little bit, you've moved away from your transverse abdominis, your deeper core muscles, and move more to the surface layer. All right, from there, let's stand up. Ankles under your knees, rotate your pelvis forward, maybe bring your torso back a little bit, push down to step up, and come around to the back of your chair. Walk back, 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs. Outer edges of feet close to straight, ankles closer to hip distance. Try to straighten the legs all the way. Those 2 things, feet straight, ankles hip distance, are one of the first steps to really start using more of the muscles around your joints. Push down through the backs of your legs. Grab whatever you're going to use for a calf stretch. Put the ball of your left foot up. Let's do left foot first this time. You can step your right foot forward any amount. While you're here in your calf stretch, so feet straight, ankles hip distance, hips over heels. That is key if you're unable to lift your kneecaps up and down. Chances are you're still spending a lot of time with your weight forward. You're going to have to get out of any heeled shoes to really get your hips back over heel. So you might want to work on your, what you need to do to transition to better shoes. You can always send me a message if you need some support or help with that. But hips over heels, and then eventually you want to be able to straighten your leg all the way and lift your kneecap up and down. And it's just kind of relaxing, clenching, relaxing, clenching the front of the thigh, clenching the front of the thigh and relaxing. That is an important step in the next alignment skill of rotating your thigh bones into neutral. While we're here, let's just turn and look over our right shoulder and nod our head yes. And turn and look over your left shoulder and nod your head yes. And switch feet. Outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Maybe that outside foot steps forward. Try to lift and lower the kneecap of your right leg, or left leg, since it's your right foot up now. And just keep working on that so that you can then practice the skill of rotating your thigh bones into neutral, which is also important for starting to use the muscles around your hips in balance. All right, from here, and just remember, it's thigh bones back. At first, your pelvis might have to tilt back a little bit, but eventually when your thigh bones are back, you re-tilt your pelvis into neutral, so you have a vertical pelvis if you tend to really go back with your buttocks. Let's drop our left ear to our left shoulder and nod our head yes, nice and slowly. And bring your head up and over and nod your head yes. And I know that, here and there it's like we're reviewing these cues a lot, but they're so important. It's really the basis of this work. And if you're not paying attention to the cues and what you're doing, all those skills and what you're doing all day long, you're not going to get the same results. You'll probably get results, but they won't be as fantastic as if you start working on these alignment skills more throughout the day. And one of those skills is rotating your thigh bones into neutral, but being able to relax your kneecaps. Okay, move that out of the side. Walk back and back into your thoracic stretch. Actually, you can have your hands forward and bend your elbows, or even rest your forearms down. If your belly can relax and your tailbone goes up and your ribs lift up a little, so you still have the natural curve of your spine, How about some transverse abdominis activation here? Let your belly completely relax and hug it in without any movement in the spine. And then most of the time, we want it to be pretty relaxed. If we're getting our pelvis and our ribs into alignment, the work will be done on its own. And then from here, how about if your kneecaps will lift up and down, rotating your thigh bones into neutral and trying to straighten your legs all the way. And then push down through the backs of the legs to come up. Put your right foot behind you as a kickstand. Left hip goes out to the side a little, and we pelvic lift. Push down, hug it. Left hip goes out a little, so important for being able to walk down hills and walk down stairs without knee discomfort. Press down and hug in. Switch, put the kickstand on the other side, and weight back over the heel, hip goes out a little, push down and hug in. Where we want to be most of the time when we're walking and we're on flat surface, nice stacked joints. Hip goes out a little, press down and hug in. Now you can keep working with the kickstand, or we're just pushing down through one hip, trying not to let it pop out to the side as we flex our ankle and it comes up. And you're just going from side to side, press down, hug in. And at first, it might feel like to get your foot up off the ground, you have to hike your hip up, you have to bend your knee. But eventually, it's like you're reaching both legs straight. You're just reaching down more through one side. Press down, hug the hip in. Press down, hug the hip in. Weight back in the heels, and then put that foot down. Okay, face your chair, step your big toes touching, sit back, really slide your shins back, press up. Walk your feet to hip distance, sit back, really slide your shins back, press up. Walk your feet wider, sit back. As you slide your shins back and your buttocks drops down, does your torso take a dive? Try to dive it forward a little bit less. And then press up, walk your feet one wider, sit back, slide your shins back. And we get in our comfort zones, even if we're like, oh, I used to be here and now I'm here. Sometimes check, oh, I can go back even a little further and tap into different muscles. And then from there, press down through your feet to come up, step your feet or walk your feet back into hip distance, sit back and step your right leg way back into a lunge. From here, reach your right arm forward, hips stay steady, reach across to the left and back, across to the left and back, across to the left and back, across to the left and back. Flip your right palm up, hips steady, twist open to the right and return. Twist open and return. Twist open, check that back foot is steady, centered, and return, and twist open and return. Hand down, push off that back foot, sit back into your chair squat, setting up your feet. Step your left leg back, center the ball of your foot. Your left arm reaches forward, over to the right and back. 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 Flip your palm up, twist open to the left and back. 3 more times. And bring that hand back. Push off the center of your back foot to step up. Sit back into your chair squat. Right heel goes forward. Push your hips back. Slide your bent knee shin back. Do your hips like to go to one side or the other? Try to center them. Point. Flex. Step back. Sit back into a chair pose. Extend your left leg. Sit your hips back. Do your hips like to go to one side or the other? Try to center them. Breathing. Point, flex, and step back. Sit back into your chair squat. Step your right leg way back. Extend your right arm. Reach over to the left and hold. Breathing. Open your arm up, palm up. Twist open to the right and hold. Check your front knee right over your ankle. Bring your hand back, push off your back foot, sit back into your chair squat. Step your left leg way back. Reach your left arm forward. Reach over to the right and hold. Letting your breath flow, feeling your hips, your waist. Flip your palm up and turn open to the left. Bring that hand back, push off your foot to step up. Sit back into your chair squat, right leg forward. One knee bent, one leg straight. Right hand goes up, side bend to the left. Open that arm out to the side. Twist towards that leg. A little goes a long way. Bring the hand back, step the foot back, sit back chair pose. Left leg extends, left arm goes up, side bend to the right. Arm goes out to the side, twist open towards the left. Keep sliding the hips back, keep breathing, and bring the hand down and step the foot back. And then from here, walk your big toes together. Push your hips back just over your heels and heel toe your feet to hip distance. Hips go back. How about relaxing your kneecaps? Maybe rotating your thigh bones into neutral and seeing you can still relax your kneecaps. Walk your feet a little wider. Maybe rotating your thigh bones into neutral, really straight legs. Walk your feet wider, rotating your thigh bones into neutral. Just remember, there's no neutral thigh bone until your feet are closer to straight. So you want to always check the position of your feet first, and then as you rotate into neutral, you're not only relaxing the front of your thighs, but does anything else clench? Deepen your hip muscles, around your thigh muscles. All right, your feet are now nice and wide. You're working on feet straight. Throughout everything we do, you can still work on neutral thigh bone rotation, but with your hips back, shift your hips to the right and shift your hips to the left. Two very straight legs. Hip shift to the right. It doesn't matter if it's really small. If it's bigger, go slower. Hip shift to the left. And hip shift to the right. Once you start getting the rotation of the thigh bones as you shift, naturally the movement will probably become a little bit smaller. Just make sure your torso is not below your hips. You're a little bit higher. Bring yourself back to center. Bend your right knee. Sit your hips back and your shins slide back further. Bend your left knee. Slide back. One knee bent, one leg straight. Right side. Left side. And right side. And left side. You got to pause to see what the rotation of your thigh bones is, the position of your feet is. Right side and left side. Back to center, big wide squat, hands inside the thighs, arms rise up, tap down. Arms rise up, tap down. Arms rise up and tap down. Arms rise up, tap down. Press on up, feet are nice and wide. Maybe scoot your feet in a tiny, maybe scoot your feet a little wider. Back your hips up, two straight legs, shift your hips to the right and hold. First, just work on backing your hips up over heels. Next, you can work on neutral rotation and relaxing your kneecaps with your hips sliding to the right. And shift, go over to the left, hips over heels, maybe even rotating your thigh bones into neutral here, relaxing any clenching. Come back to center, bend your right knee. My goodness, that knee wants to go forward. Back up, back up, back up. Bend into your left knee, back up, back up, back up. Now go back to the right and hold. Back up and hold. Use the front of your foot pressing down. Go over to the left and hold, back up. Your shins, your hips, Breathing. Bring your hips back to center. Big, wide squat. And circle your arms up and down. Circle up and down. Circle up and down. Circle up and down. Your feet are nice and wide. Back your hips up over your heels. Maybe rotate your thigh bones into neutral with outer edges of the feet straight. Walk your feet in. Back your hips up. Thigh bone rotation. Remember, you just want the lines on the back of the knee to point back. Your knees will not look like they're rolling in towards each other when the outer edges of your feet are straight. Walk your feet in another step. Rotate your thigh bones, maybe into neutral, straightening the legs all the way. It's okay if the inner arches roll up for a while, and walk your feet in a little closer. Rotate your thigh bones into neutral. If your spine is rounded, be higher up on your hands. And you're not leaning a bunch of weight into your upper body. All right, and then push down through the backs of your legs. Your feet are about hip distance apart. Right leg forward, left leg back. You can work with a shorter stance, or you can lengthen it a little further, squaring your hips. Your right leg is forward, your left arm goes up into the air, side bend to the right, work on that back leg staying straight, front leg too, and back down. And side bend, and open. Side bend, and open. Side bend, and both arms out to the side, twist to the right, the upper body, and unwind. Twist to the right, unwind. 2 more like that. All right, switch legs. Left foot forward, right leg back. First, maybe shorter stance. Over time, lengthen a little more, but 2 straight legs. If that knee keeps wanting to bend, don't step it so too far too soon. Now your right arm goes up into the air, side bend to the left, and come up. Side bend, and up in the air. 2 more like that. All right, arms out to the sides. We twist to the left and unwind. All right, back to center. Step that back foot forward. Right arm over the left. Maybe wiggle your hands farther down the sides of the chair as you back your hips up. You don't have to wiggle your hands farther down. How about neutral rotation of your thigh bones here? And switch. Put your opposite arm on top. You can just be on the top of the chair. You can walk your hands further. Chin and head and neck are comfortably relaxed. And push through your heels to come up. Okay, a little bit of pelvic lifting. You're welcome to put your block under your foot. Push down, ankle flexes, hip goes out a little, press down, hug in. So you're just continuously balancing on one leg. The standing leg is doing all the work. Okay, we do a few of those. Then we switch sides. Feet closer to straight, ankles closer hip distance. Hips over heels. If it's really hard to maintain any of those, use your fingers on a wall. Hip goes out to the side, press down, hug in, pelvic lift. Hip goes out a little, push down, hug in, pelvic lift. Watch the rib thrust. Okay, so face your chair, sit your hips back, cross your right ankle over your left knee. If your knee slides forward, back your hips up. If your hips go to one side, center them. And let that right thigh drop open any amount. Your hands are supporting you, but you're not gripping. Try to relax the shoulders a little bit. Switch. Feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance. Sit back. Cross over. Does your knee go forward? Slide it back. Do your hips go to one side? So on this side, my hips go more to one side, so then when I turn them back, my torso wants to turn. At first, you just let your torso turn, then eventually see, can I also straighten out my torso a little bit while I'm bringing my hips to center? And then allow that hip to relax any amount and breathing. All right, come on up. So you can turn your chair around and use your hands on the chair if you work with a flat spine. So like something like this with a nice neutral curve of your spine, not necessarily a flat spine, but the neutral curves. Or you can stick with me and just use the back of the chair. Feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance. Push down through your outer left hip, hug it in, lift your right leg. The more that right hip rolls open, the more it probably means that your left hip is going forward and maybe out to the side or in. So you've got to pull the hip back and hug it in, and then you start squaring your legs to the floor. Reach long through that back leg, back your weight up into the heel of the standing leg. You could really work the muscles by rotating that thigh bone into neutral of your standing leg. Good. Lower the foot down. Feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance. Push down through the right hip, hug it in, extend that leg. First thing is, are you forward? Back your weight up. Does your outside hip lift up? Pull your standing leg hip back and in to square your hips and reach long through that leg. And breathing here. Just keep making those little subtle adjustments and then lower that foot down. Okay, whatever you're using for a calf stretch, grab it. Put the ball of one foot up. You can step your outside foot forward any amount, back your hips up. You can rest hands, you can rest forearms, and a little shift side to side of your hips. Two very straight legs. If it feels good, like stay to one side. And then stay on the other side. Ooh, I'm going to work more on that in the weeks to come. Switch. Maybe the outside foot steps forward and back. You can be on your hands. You can be on your forearms. You're not diving your upper body in. You're still supporting yourself with your legs. Shift your hips side to side. Take your time, feel the transition. Maybe staying on one side and taking a breath or two. And then transitioning to the other side and taking a breath or two. And then press yourself up, and you can move that out of the way and then come back to your chair. And with feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Take your time, try not to fall to your chair. So while you're here, you can sit up on something, a towel, a pillow. Try to rotate your pelvis forward even more, like so much so that it's like you're going into a forward fold, like you are coming up off of your tailbone, you're majorly on your sitting bones, and then maybe from there you just try to bring your spine back without this happening even the tiniest little bit. So just see, can I work that rotation a little bit more? And then turn to the right and turn to the left. And you're just going side to side here. Next time you go to the right, hold. Check the tilt of the pelvis, ribs back up, ears slide back over the shoulders. And twist to the left. Check the tilt of the pelvis, ribs back up, ears slide back. Thighs are steady, not caving in or rolling out. unwind. Keep your hips somewhat forward on the chair. Just lean your spine back. So if you need to scoot your hips back a little, but mainly just lean your spine back. And right knee comes in and left leg comes in. Notice if your leg always does one of these, center it. If it doesn't, you can do it. But you're just looking for a habit of your body and doing something a little differently. Okay, next time your right knee comes in, hold 1 point, so make it count. 1 flex, 1 twist one way, 1 twist the other way. Back to center, spread all your toes, and not only spread them, but if you have curled up toes like I do from years and years of just living in flip-flops and high heels, try to stretch your toes along too. Can you elongate your toes? And switch legs. So nothing aggressive, but pay attention. Point, flex, twist one side, twist the other side. Back to center, spread all your toes, but also try to stretch them long as you spread them. Spreading and stretching long. And release. Okay, so you're going to, with ankles under your knees, fold forward any amount, a little bit, to all the way to the floor. Push down through your feet to come up. So usually we do bent knees and straight legs. We're going to do one in between. So bend your knees with your ankles quite a bit in front of your knees and fold forward here, any amount. Few more breaths here, softening the face, feeling your ankles, your feet, your knees, your hips, your spine. Push down through your feet, and now scoot your hips all the way back into your chair. Let your gaze soften or your eyes gently close. And become very present with your body and with your breath. Free yourself from judgments. Nature doesn't cast judgments. Instead, it allows all things to exist, both those we label as good and those we label as bad. The same sun that sustains a gorgeous flower also feeds the so-called weed that may threaten its growth. The same body of water is home to fish and leeches alike. Nature displays a deeper wisdom, one that knows that in some way all things have a place and a purpose. Try practicing non-judgment when you observe your body and breath in Savasana. Instead of judging things as good or bad while you observe, try to observe without labels, without a story of why something is one way or the other. Allow the parts of you to just be as they are. When a judgmental feeling or thought arises, remind yourself, I am free of judgment when it comes to my body. So let's practice. Interestingly enough, this is one of the main things that when I go away yearly to my 10-day silent meditation retreats, it's one of the main parts of the practice, is not only observing, but can you do so without judging what you're experiencing? Because sometimes it's going to be pleasant and sometimes it's going to be unpleasant. But just to observe and allow whatever it is. bringing our hands to heart center. May we keep observing without judgment, in gratitude for this day. Namaste.